Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the ideas I've had for a while that who will be the worst team in the NHL next season. Because teams like the Avalanche have improved, I think. um, like the Red Wings have improved somewhat with Daly. Canucks have been trying to get competitive for those free agent signings, so it kind of winds the gap of who you think is going to be the worst team. And let's see, I got five teams here who I think are going to be. I mean, there's teams that could possibly make it like the Devils, but I don't think that they'll have a bad season like they had last year. I think they'll improve. But I narrowed it down the best I could, and I only narrowed it down to teams that I could see being the worst. Like, I can't see the Devils being the worst team in the NHL. I can't see it. It's just not really realistic, in my opinion. But let's just start with it. It isn't ranked at all, but I'm just gonna list down my five from just how I wrote it down. I don't know how I did really. Just like the first ones that came up in my mind. But first off, the Vancouver Canucks. Like, I mean, they've improved forward-wise and defensive-wise with Delzato and other free agent signings, but I still think there's a bad team there. I don't know what they're going to do with the goaltender situation. I mean, it isn't really looking good there at all. I mean, I don't know if they're going to put, what's his name? But it's going to be tough for them to score goals, in my opinion, because it seems able to regress. They aren't good. They aren't great players now because they've just been going so old now. It's going to be hard to score goals, especially when they haven't really gotten a big free agent. If they really wanted to, I mean, I don't know why they would, but I mean, the defense will be fine. I don't think the goaltenders will. But I mean, if they want to play Thatcher Demko this season, I don't know why. It's a pretty real possibility, just because they have nobody really there. I mean, there really isn't anybody for that backup position, in my opinion. It's gonna be tough for their goaltending. I mean, if Demko does good, who knows? I mean, it could be an early science for him. I mean, I think they should wait one more year for him, but that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm not a Canucks analyst, so who really cares? But I mean, they're probably gonna finish top or. I mean, they're probably going to finish bottom five. I don't see them really competing for the playoffs like they did for the start of this year. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the NHL is something special, so who knows. But next up, I have the Detroit Red Wings, and they're probably the most likely to be the worst in the Eastern Conference. I mean, even signing guys like Daly. I mean, they just don't really have the great depth there. But they have depth, but it isn't great depth. It isn't like the depth that they have. The players that they have that are supposed to be depth are not really good players. So it doesn't really matter if you have good depth, really. You have to stretch on the definition of that. But it's like Jamie Howard played great in the games that he did play. Mrazek is still there. Maybe he has a bounce back season. I mean, in the East, there really isn't that key team that you think is going to tank. There really isn't any teams that are tanking for real in the league. I mean, Avalanche aren't really tanking. Joe Sakic is still thinking that they're a competitor. But like, if anybody came out of the East to be the worst team, it would be the Red Wings. They might get a lottery advantage. Who knows? I mean, they didn't with this year, but I don't know. But it's tough for them. If like their defense, they have good guys up front like Tatar and Nyquist forwards wise, and on defense they're okay. I mean, their defense is very veteran heavy, which might hurt them with it. Like, with teams like Toronto going fast, like the Bruins are gonna outweigh them. I mean, that is a pretty tough division if you're slow, and I don't know, but I think they'll probably be the worst team in the East, but it'll probably be by a small margin, just because I don't know. because they're somewhat competitive, and who knows what will happen. Who knows what will happen? It's the NHL, of course. It's not the NBA. We know what will happen in the NBA. We don't know what will happen in the NHL. So, next up, I have probably the most likely answer in all honesty, Colorado Avalanche. I mean, they got Bernier, they got Nail Yakupov, but it's not going to really help them for. I mean, they're like the Detroit Red Wings, where they have some good guys up front, like McKinnon and Duchesne, but their depth guys are just terrible. They're just sucky. They're just so bad, and they really have nobody that really fill that role that is good on the forward third line. They got a few good guys up front, but who knows? But I mean, they're probably the most likely option. But again, they aren't tanking necessarily. They aren't selling one of their veterans. I mean, they're keeping on hold of Duchesne apparently. But I mean, if they get rid of Duchesne, they'll probably they have probably left themselves higher in the tank role. But I don't know. I don't know at this point. But the next up, I have the Arizona Coyotes. This is probably the least likely out of all of these, just because I think they've improved so much with Antti Raanta, Dirk Stepan. That trade really helped them in my mind. They don't have quite the depth that they need, that young depth, as good young depth. But I still think that they'll be competitive. They'll probably drop out of top 5, if I'm being honest. Of the worst teams, they'll probably be 6th or 7th. Still not great, but I mean, it's an improvement. It's an improvement. But I like the moves that they made. And if Antti Raanta plays well, who knows what happens, man. We've seen goaltenders carry teams. We've seen Varlamov carry the Avalanche a couple of years ago. Look what they are now. So, it's interesting, but, I mean, it'll all depend on Antti Raanta, definitely. If he does crap in Arizona and he doesn't like being in a starter role, and he can't do well in a starter role, it's gonna backfire on them. But, I mean, that's probably the least likely of all of these to finish last. I mean, it was my last. I wanted to get 5 teams on here. And that would be my last pick. But you could switch the Coyotes out for the Devils, and I wouldn't really necessarily disagree with that. But last up, I mean, I don't know what their team is yet, really, and it's tough to say if it's really right or not at this point. The Vegas Golden Knights, like, I could see them making a push for the playoffs, not getting into the playoffs, but being really close if everything goes right. But they cannot score goals, and I don't know if they'll even make Croc out of a top 5 with like 16 different defensemen that are NHL ready. It really doesn't make sense at all. They could trade one of those guys for a forward, but no. Let me just trade for a 3rd round pick in 2020. But it'll really not really matter all too much, but it is what it is. But they're going to score goals. I mean, they're going to be a defensive team, hopefully. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, if they want to fully embrace this defensive mindset that they got right now, then go ahead. But it isn't that smart. And the best defenseman is Nate Schmidt, and he is probably not going to make the lineup because I don't know. I don't feel like he's going to do that. He might. He might make top 6 minutes, but I don't know if they'll necessarily want to have a guy instead of, like, I don't know. I'm trying to get out of examples. Maybe Jason Garrison doesn't make the lineup. He'll replace Nate Schmidt. So I don't know. It's a weird carousel of defensemen that I don't know. Frankly, what they're doing. They drafted Lucas Spiza instead of anything else, really. I don't know what they're doing. Like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for George McPhee to bring a sort of young, competitive team here. He didn't have too many young options, but he could have gotten most of it young, but he decides to go with Lucas Spiza, trade for Clayton Stoner. Like, it's not that fun. But that's going to be it for today, guys. My pick will be the Colorado Avalanche. I just don't think that they're going to really improve all that much, even with some free signings. But that is going to be it for today. Like if you guys did enjoy it. Subscribe if you really enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.